Good morning, students. Let us start new chapter, and that is chapter number 5, supply. Now, what is supply? It's a vis-a-vis of demand. If demand is important and demand is coming from consumer side, supply comes from producer sides and salesman sides or seller sides. Now, for supply, what are the important ingredients? So, supply for food, then what are the important ingredients? As I told you, it coming from producers or sellers. Commodity and services, as we have in demand. Next, third number is willing to produce. This is very important, willing to produce or offer for sales, because if the salesperson, then it should offer to sell. The salesperson should have the willingness to sell. Next, particular price. Price is important, then only it will become supply. Particular period of time. Now, what are the 3 times which we are having in supply? Market period. Market period is called as very short period, and where supply is fixed. Supply fixed, only things are coming or products are coming from stock. So, this is very short period, very short. So, very short period, another name is market period. Then short period, very short. Now it is short period, limited increase. Maybe previously if somebody is working for single shift, now they're working for double shift. So supply can be increased but limited in quantity. Now last is long period. Long period means large change in supply. That means you can change the plant, you can change the industry. Just now what we had studied, that your supply requires what? These are the 3 aspects which is required in supply. Number 1, desired quantity with reference to a price, and 3 time period. First one is market period. That means very short. Short period, limited supply. Short period means limited supply. Remember this thing. Large period means large extent of supply. Now what is supply schedule? Now what is supply schedule? It's a table statement where you have got different prices of the product. Product is QX out here. In demand, you have got QX as demand, but here QX is the supply. And we can see the change in the supply. So just see, as the price rises, the supply also increases. The quantity supply increases. So this is a very interesting thing. In demand, what you saw, in demand, what you generally saw or you have seen for the normal product, when price increases, quantity decreases, and when price decreases, quantity increases, and you call that relationship as inverse. Now here it is other way around. Here we can see that when price increases, quantity supply is increasing, and when price decreases, quantity supply decreases. So this is what is the major change, and this particular relationship is called direct or positive. What do you call this? Direct or positive. Just the opposite of demand. Now this is supply schedule. So now if I put all this point price out here in y-axis and quantity in this x-axis, what we find out? We find out that 250 is 2, 500 is 4, 700 is 6. So we put the dot, and if we join this dot, then we can find that supply curve is like this. This is straight line. At times it may not be straight line, it can be a curve, but this is upward sloping. So supply curve is positive slope. And as you know, demand curve we have studied. So I'm continuously giving you the comparison of demand and supply so that there should not be any confusion, and you will be having the recap of demand also. So here it is downward sloping, but here it is positive sloping. That means upward sloping. Upward sloping from left to right. There it was negative sloping. That means slope was negative. Remember, but that time it was downward sloping from left to right. Here upward sloping from left to right. Just now it's individual supply curve because only single supply. But let us do for the market. supply curve. What is market supply curve? For market supply curve, one individual supply, second individual supply, and we can see, just see, as you know the elasticity from demand side also, this is less elastic, not that much of slope. This is more elastic because lot of changes occurs, because you just see that one price, when it is 1, then quantity supply for A was 20, and for B it was 10, very less. But as the price increases to 5, you just see the jump out here is only 10 changes, 10 unit change, but here the change is more, 40 units change. So that's why more the change, more the elasticity. That's why I'm telling you again and again, elasticity of demand, please study more. So now together you can find out market elasticity. Now see, the market react in different way. Individual producer may different way, but this is market supply. This is market supply, and market supply depend upon both A and B, because see, 10 plus 30, 30 plus 50, 80. These are the slides which will further give you more knowledge about what I have just discussed now. Now, let me tell you the difference between two things, that is stock and flow. Stock is at a particular point of time, like the goods in the warehouse, and flow is over the period of time, like sales. That's why supply is called flow concept, and supply is, suppose the stock is there in a warehouse or in some kind of places, and when it comes to the market for sale, then only it becomes supply. So for supply and stock, there is two things. So what is the supply function? Supply function is the relationship between supply and other variable. Now it's just like demand function. Now here the relationships, the determinants of supplies are different. Here, so just see the determinants of supply, there are a lot of prices are here. So what are the prices? First, price of the product, definitely it affects. Price of related goods, just like demand function, but price of factors also important, like input prices. Next is O. O refers to outside economy, T is the technology, small t is the tax. Small t is tax, S refers to the subsidy, U refers to the other factors. Now students, there are 3 P's out here. You can see the price of the product, the related price or other goods like substitute goods or complementary goods or other goods, and another small things you can see, PF means price of the factor of production, that means input. See that how price affect the supply. Generally, suppose you are a producer and a salesperson, so what do you do? Whenever price increases, definitely you will supply more or you sell more. The price of other goods, suppose tea price increases, producer will sell tea, they will not sell coffee, so the supply of coffee will be less if the price of tea increases. Now there are some other thing like factor of production. Now suppose labor charges has increased. Now when labor charges will increase, the price of the houses will increase definitely, because and people will supply less of houses because labor prices increase. So that definitely it will change. Now producer's objective. Now producer is a very coward producer. They will wait for the price to be high, then only they will supply. So that is also important, that what kind of producer is he. Next is a factor of outside economic sphere. Suppose outside economic sphere means something which is not controlled by the country, by the other country. So that is also important. Now you can see the determinant of supply, the price of commodity, which is a major change, which can create major change in the supply. Goal of the firm, just now I told you, either the person is profit maximizer, they will definitely wait for the price to increase, then only they will sell. But if the person is a risk taker, they can sell even if the price is less, because they think that, oh, I'll sell more even if the price is less. Now, factor of production, if the factor of production means input price, if the input price is very high, supply will definitely decrease, because now you require more and more cost of production. Now determinant of supply, just now I told you, tea and coffee, that is very important, because people will rather sell other product which is having higher price. So you can see here that it depends upon the other price. Now change in technology. Suppose the technology has improved, then definitely supply will increase, because now the cost of production will be reduced. Before that, people use those typewriters to do the typing, but right now computer is used. So that's why it is more user friendly and less costly, so people will supply more. Now taxation, if people government put a lot of tax, then supply will definitely not supply, and if the subsidy is more, supply will go for more and more supply. Expected future price. Now if you get to know that future price will increase, then definitely the salesperson will wait for the future when the price will increase. Determinant of supply, other things are there. There are tendencies. Suppose you are monopoly, single seller, you will change according to your own wish. You will not wait for the price to increase or decrease because you are the ruler. Next is natural calamity. If suppose there is some natural calamities, like right now COVID-19 and all these things are happening, supply will definitely get affected. Agreement, suppose somebody wants to create a kind of scarcity, they will change the supply. Now see, just now I said change the supply. Change the supply can be happen in two ways. If suppose only price, due to some price, then you can see the supply will increase or decrease. This increase and decrease will be called as expansion or contraction. But when it shift, just like demand curve, when it shift, this shift is not because of price but because of other variables. Other variables may be anything. What are the determinants? Just now I told anything. So it can be either right side or left side, and this right side is increase, left side is decrease. You know that. Now just now I say that why supply curve is normally sloping upward. It's sloping upward because whenever there is a rise in price, definitely there will be increase in supply. Now these are the causes of shift in the market supply. See here, not for price but because of other variables, and all the variables are here: climate, change in technology, change in government policies, and all this thing. You can see the shift. Shift is because of some other variables, not because of the price. Now let us start the law of supply, which is very important. Law of supply says other thing remaining constant, whenever the price increases, supply increase, and whenever the price decreases, supply decrease. This is just like demand curve. Here it is the direct relationship, there it was an inverse relationship. Now law of supply curve, just now I defined also. This supply curve showing the supply schedule. We can see whenever price increases, the supply increases, and it's a positive relationship. Assumptions are all the variables are constants. What are the variables? As you know, factor of production, technology, goal of the firm, the price of other goods, and of course the expected price of future. These are things, but there are some exceptions. Exceptions of law of demand, law of supply. It's just like law of demand. Law of demand, you know that there are some cases when the law of demand doesn't hold good. Here also law of supply doesn't hold good. For example, some cases like perishable goods like milk, paneer, and all this thing. When you think that things can get stale, even if the price is not increased, you will supply more. There is another case like in labor market. Labor market, suppose wages increases. Wages increases, that means price of labor increases, but labor will not do that much of hard work that time. They will not give you that much of time. Rather, they will do leisure. So that's why the supply will decrease. Out here is the price, and the time of work is the supply of labor, which going less and less as the wage is the price and time of work is the supply. Thank you very much. Next class we'll be studying supply elasticity. Complete your worksheet.